All right. My favorite, most used multi-tool. What is it? It is a knife. No, this is not clickbait. This is legitimate. I do use multi-tools, and I have many of them that I use. However, I use a knife more than I use my multi-tool. I use it when I'm working around the house, working on a vehicle, when I'm camping or fishing or something, whenever I'm, like stripping wires or whenever I'm starting a fire with a fire still, I use the knife on the fire still. I use the knife to feather some wood to start the fire. Can even use this particular one, even though it's small, to like split wood, like small pieces of wood. Um, just so many things. Besides the fact that since I also train in blade fighting and knife fighting systems like Kali, then that is one more possible use, right? Um, so it's something that I use almost every day. Now, some people who do blade training like myself, they may say, or knife collectors even, they may say something along the lines that you shouldn't use your knife for this or that, whatever, working on things. You don't want to mess up your blade. I can sharpen the blade, for one thing. I can fix it, right? Besides the fact, I don't spend a lot of money on a blade. Reason being because you can lose it. I have lost knives before. You can lose it, it can be stolen. You can still destroy a very expensive, like if you spend $500 on a knife, I mean, it can still be destroyed, right? I've seen it happen. So to me, the most valuable multi-tool for me is my blade for many different reasons. I use, like I said, I use it almost on the daily. So um, I don't necessarily care about the type of blade it is. I prefer fixed blade. Uh, then I know it's definitely secure, and I just feel like myself I can do a little bit more with it. However, I do also have some folders. Um, Neither one of these I spent much for. I think 25 for this one and like $5 for this one used, and it's a good knife. It's a Smith and Wesson, and it keeps a good edge. I don't have to sharpen them that often, which has been a complaint in the past with cheaper knives. The knife industry has changed so much now that you can buy a cheaper knife and it still be a good knife, right? Um, to me, just going and spending a lot of money on a knife is kind of bougie and it's just not worth it. So there may be some blade someday that I might think is worth it, but not right now. No, especially since I use them so much. Like I say, um, there's just so many uses for them. It is truly a multi-tool, especially like I said, for me, someone who could trains with them could possibly use it for self-defense in a life or death situation, of course. And yes, there are other tools that you can use for that, but sometimes you have to use the right tool for the right situation, right? So um, yeah, so I would think about investing in, if you don't already carry a everyday carry knife, that's something to think about, and just think about the different possibilities that you can do with them, and maybe do some training. Try to find someone in your area that can teach you some blade fighting, do some blade training. Anyone, that is another thing that anyone can do, right? Um, as far as like adults, right? The weakest person could still learn blade fighting and be effective enough to defend themselves. It doesn't take that much, but there are things you can learn that will make you a much better blade fighter than just the average person. So, but like I said, besides that, um, I use it all the time, every day. I use it when I'm in the garden. If I'm working in the garden, I'm using my knife. Working on a car, I'm using my knife. Working on the house, I'm using my knife. Camping, fishing, whatever. It's like constantly, all the time. I always carry a blade with me because I'm always using it. So anyway, I will probably in the future do a video on some different multi-tools, maybe which one's my favorite. Because like I said, I do actually use multi-tools, but I do not use them as often as I do just my knife. So that is, a knife is truly a multi-tool. It's the multi-tool that we've been using for thousands of years. So there you go with that. So anyway, like and subscribe, um, and I will see you on the next one.